Are you ready for the divine feminine revolution? Let's get vulnerable and go deep.
Hello and welcome to the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Monday, and I'm so excited to have Dr. Isha Vela. Not only are you a psychologist, but you are an alchemist. You help people with sovereignty and leadership coaching. So coming out of a marriage and starting today, was it like starting all over again?
I think that from a patriarchal standpoint, we are consumed, right? Women's energy, and anybody can be sexualized, however you identify, but women especially are taken from. Just when you think about rape culture, when you think about rising in media and things like that, we're always being taken and there's gaze upon us. And I was like, no, I want my gaze to be absolutely mine. And began a selfie practice where I would take pictures of myself with clothing and without clothing, but really about, I want to see myself. I want to enjoy myself. I'm going to take over the lens. And that was a huge part of what enabled me then to share my sexuality, because I felt really, I was bathing in it on a daily basis. And I feel like I fell in love with myself in the process of shifting the gaze and becoming the eye of the beholder. So that was really big for me. In terms of my own journey around sexuality,
I think it makes sense that more and more people are going to be wanting that because we're shedding this false skin of the patriarchy and colonialism and just all of the shame and conditioning and stuff that tell a certain way. I always feel like I just love humanity so much. And so why wouldn't I be attracted to all people?
Yes, exactly. Like, and that's what I would tell people. I love humanity. And when I make love to a body, I'm making love to the human, right? I'm making love to this body that contains this human spirit. For me, that's the way that I approach sexuality. And I think that part of the timeline piece is really expanding how we love, who we love. All of that is opening way up. Yeah. And even my path, what's in my astrology and everything is like, my path is about getting to know who I am via relationships. And that really has been like each person that I have had the privilege of sharing my energy with, sexual or otherwise, has been just this, oh, I didn't know that about me. And here is this new part of myself I get to uncover and explore and play with. Soul, a person, it doesn't really matter the package they come in. So yeah, that was also a new discovery for me that I think is part of the process of loving more than one is we get to discover parts of ourselves. I think that's from a soul's perspective, that's what we want. We want to know ourselves. And we get to do it through relationship. We get to do it through lots of different things, but relationship is one of the vehicles.
Obviously, gender roles have created so much trauma, rape culture and hypermasculinity and hyperfemininity and these cycles of abuse and all kinds of things. And so I think that's why this is why we're on the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast.
Yes.
Not to exclude the masculine, but in my mind, it's the matriarchy is rising. And I feel like it's such a powerful counterpoint to the patriarchy because where the patriarchy has been exclusive and has been domination culture and power over people, I really feel like the matriarchy is inclusivity and freedom of expression. And like you said, choices and options and like, you can just do what you want versus you have to be in the small sliver of you have to be in your box and you have to be under the power and control system.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think that's with the rise of feminine energy or with this realization that this is what has been suppressed for such a long time. It just gives everybody, regardless of your gender identification, the opportunity to just locate that within themselves. So I really feel that's where we're going with the goal, if there is a goal, to balance that out within each person.
And I think it's that healing energy, the receptive, the mystery, I think does.
Yes.
To gender it, I feel like it does the more feminine piece. And that's what's been missing. And that's why the people are suffering.
Yeah. And we talk about masculine and feminine because we don't have the language. I tend to use receptive and active just because I don't like using feminine and masculine because I don't feel that within me. But is limited, but they can't live apart. They need each other.
they're both inside of us. Masculine and feminine, or receptive or active.
The intention is to really get clear on the stuff that gets you stuck in polyamory, which usually are fears around intimacy, the fear of annihilation or the fear of engulfment, these sort of universal fears that are actually in our nervous systems that lead to or conflicts or flare-ups or activations. And so just really giving people a rundown of these are the 4 areas to assess around values, your motivation, desires, all of that stuff, their relationship, or if they're solo and really like, okay, now I feel clear about how I want to approach. I know what to look out for within myself and to be self-referenced. A lot of people approach polyamory because they want to grow. And those are the people that I want to work with. If you're in it for the growth, if you're in it for the expansion, if you're in it for decolonizing your ideas around love and partnership.
Thanks for listening to the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Want to keep the conversation flowing? Find us where revolutionary women gather to listen to their hearts, monetize their gifts, and change the world.